Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Star Jam. I don't know if that's what the theme song doesn't sound anything like that, but welcome back to Star Jam. I'm here with the Stream Punks tonight. We are playing episode 2 of our 6-part campaign. As we get underway here, I'm going to go ahead and just throw the doors open and ask anybody if you got any announcements. Anybody got anything they just want to jump in on and do that, and I'll do my announcements at the end. Bonnie, what? Wait, hold up. That's weird. When was the last time, guys, seriously, when was the last time Bonnie had an announcement? I don't even.
This is ever happening.
That's just okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I know.
Bonnie,
usually I keep quiet, but I guess today I'll make an exception. Hey, everybody! Thursdays on Paramount Plus. Check out Star Trek Prodigy because you have to. I said so. Do the thing. It's super good. By now, you've probably all have at least seen the pilot. Hopefully, it's amazing, and I can't wait for you guys to see the rest of the show. It's wonderful. Y'all are gonna like it. Also, in case you didn't know, we're now in the future. And my Kickstarter has launched for my solo album. It's a jazzy with a touch of nerdy. No idea where it is right now. Because maybe you found it already.
Oh my God, it's funded.
Yeah, we did it. I have no idea. In the past, future, I don't know what day it is. But regardless, I really hope you guys check it out. It's going to be jazzy with a touch of nerdy. It's all jazz music, a lot of originals that I've written myself, everything to songs about Comic-Cons to ADHD. I got some fun covers in there. So please check it out. Thanks.
Yay. Anybody else have any announcements before I jump into mine that we got today? Anybody else?
Too soon.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. The downside of like the one downside about pre-taping this before the holidays is that the stuff that we're planning, it just too soon to announce. Okay, so
sorry.
What I got is just as a quick reminder, we have moved over to Coffee. So if y'all have been supporters for us on Patreon, which we deeply love you and support, thank you for your support, rather. Thank you for that. We have moved our business over to Coffee now. So if you want to support the Stream Punks, you can find us over in Coffee. You can still support us on Patreon. Just as a quick reminder, you can always keep supporting us on Patreon. The exclusive content that we're going to be coming out with is going to be based over in Coffee. So if you want to catch Sam and I playing They Rode on Wolf, which is a new RPG that we just launched. It is the last Tuesday of every month, and then Eliza Pearl has her show that she is doing, which I believe Sam is the second Tuesday of every month, if that's not. And Eliza's kind of all over the place. She's like, I'm gonna do board games, I'm gonna do RPGs, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want, and we know better than to argue with that. So yeah, that's going to be for our Coffee supporters. So definitely check us out over there. That's the only announcement I've got tonight.
I just had an idea.
Uh-oh. What's your idea?
I don't. Maybe I shouldn't say it on stream, but I'm going to say it anyway. What about for Coffee? First of all, Coffee. What about for the holidays? If I can time it out, I can pre-record a holiday special as Mrs. Claus running a game, an RPG.
Oh God.
That would be exclusively for our supporters of Stream Punks.
She's for the internet.
I'm just putting that out on the internet. It's now out there.
That's reality
Mrs.
canon.
Claus makes an appearance.
You're not putting pressure on us. You're putting pressure on Jake if he can juggle those kinds of plates. But I'm totally down for that.
I'll see what I can do. Let me look in my bag of tricks and
Bonnie
Santa's bags of toys.
I'm all for this. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else have any announcements they'd like to get out tonight before we jump into the maelstrom of death? Anybody else? Yeah, Sam.
I get to nom on a maelstrom of death, and I'm excited.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into tonight's episode of Star Jam. Wait, what fruits? No, don't repeat it. Okay. We're gonna leave that one alone. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump in to tonight's episode of Star Jam, episode 2. When we last left off, you were all in the lair of a dragon that you had found after journeying to the Rock of Brawl. You were all lured here with the promise of being given vital information by an information broker, somebody who peddles in this information. And as information brokers tend to be, this particular one has a dubious reputation, someone not to be trusted. However, if there's money to be made, that much is at least enough to go on to set up a meeting. The purpose of all of this, of course, is the fact that Celestine, a hatchling crystal dragon, has been confiscated from the clutches of mercenaries who were abducting them while they were still in the egg. And this was 4 months ago. The mystery as to why Celestine is so important and why these mercenaries are hunting them down and why there is so much going on with that has slowly started to unveil itself. You have all learned a little bit of information, none more so than Celestine, who apparently had an encounter with, well, it's unclear. But whatever it was rather large and very unhappy. And Celestine had a vision after coming into contact with something called the Shard of the Astral Traveler. It was supposed to sort of awaken the memory. It is a device that is used to sort of bring out perhaps old memories or maybe even your path of destiny by invoking visions when you come into contact with it. Celestine started to have some of those memories bubble up, but it didn't quite do the job. And instead, what it did is attract the attention of something large and scary. And by large, I mean its eye was literally the size of a planet. Now, while all of this was taking place, the doors to this hideout started getting smashed in. And while this was happening, what was revealed is the dragon, Razin, who has brought you all here. By the way, the Githzare who brought you all here, named Javik, they are a servant of this large, beautiful dragon that has brought you all in, this bronze dragon. Well, the bronze dragon revealed that it was actually some kind of projection or an illusion and has since vanished along with its hoard of gold and everything. The only thing in this room right now is a large chest, the Shard of the Astral Traveler, and a couple of packs off in the corner. It looks like it's a crash space for this Githzare, who's been operating as an agent for Razin here in the Rock of Brawl. As soon as the doors started getting kicked in, Razin gave Jazik the order to bring you all to them as quickly as possible and to protect Celestine before it vanished. Where we left off was you all heard the secret entrance to this sort of pocket realm being caved in. And for those of you who are sensitive to magic, you can feel those pulses at the other side as the magic that was hiding the entryway to this door is failing on the outside. And Celestine, you have just snapped out of it. You've just come out of the vision, and you can still hear that voice that was impossibly deep and impossibly loud and large. It felt like if the cosmos was a room, it filled the entire auditorium. It was everywhere, all at once, reverberating, rattling your bones as it spoke, causing vibrations around your crystal scales and sending chills down your spine before you were awoken from this to the sound of your companions drawing weapons and Jazik saying, "The door's not going to hold much longer. Everyone, prepare yourselves." And again, you hear the smashing sound. You guys have a few moments here to prepare before that door gives way.
Yeah. Earl will draw his swords.
All right.
And position themselves in front. Well, next to Celestine.
Okay. Take
Let's
position
not
next
forget,
to Celestine.
Celestine is invisible right now.
Yep, that's correct.
Ah,
Mhm.
that is true. Then I will position myself next to where I think they are.
That works.
I
Because
do
so far as you
have
know,
that being said, I do have primeval awareness. So I can sense dragons. I know where they are.
that's true.
Perfect.
That's true. There's only one
Mhm.
dragon in this room right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if
Um,
there's no other, what's up?
Oh, I was just gonna say Wixel puts the staff at there's like she can put it on her back. You know,
Wow.
she usually uses it as a cane, but she's gonna put it on her the rod on her back and pull out her knitting needles, which are actually two daggers, and and hold on to them and kind of slink off into the shadows because that's what she's got. Oh wait, I forgot. Oh, there it is. There I am. Okay. And she's going to slink off into the shadows because she's going to make sure to flank.
Okay.
And whenever attacks are about to happen.
Romska's also going to, she sees Grohl and does similar while drawing her saber.
Okay. All right. Well,
My gal's got her wand.
okay. Everyone is prepared as much as you can prepare. There is, again, a smashing and smashing and smashing. You can hear this heavy thudding at the end of this door, which was disguised as a rock, until you finally hear this crumpling sound. Just it doesn't sound like a door giving way or a rock falling apart. It just sounds like something on the other end of that dark hallway beyond the room has just crumpled inwards, and a light shaft comes streaking into that hallway. We can see the outline and silhouettes of shadows of people moving into that hallway now. What's up?
I just want to say, as the wall is cracking, Glamet just goes, "Oh, I almost forgot," and holds her wand up at the tip and kind of gives it a, and the smallest of, like, a single speck of glitter, 5 pieces land on everyone, and you get the Mantle of Inspiration, 8 temporary hit points, my friends.
Sweet. So you grant everyone Mantle of Inspiration, 8 temporary hit points to everybody. That's huge. That doesn't require concentration or anything, huh? You just can pop that.
No, it does
puppy
not.
off. That's freaking good. That's some good stuff. Okay. So as this magical effect takes hold, you all can feel yourselves being bolstered suddenly as the magical effect happens. And moving into the room, you see what could best be described as your pretty stereotypical looking cultists. You see people wearing ashen gray, mottled with like dark black silk inlay into their robes, come like a bunch of ring wraith cosplayers just kind of filtering into the room. Most of them are varying species. You can't really get a look at their faces. They begin to spread out and sort of, they don't immediately engage anybody. They kind of casually all walk into the room. They do have weapons drawn when they enter the room, but they all kind of make into a formation. Looks like most of them, you can see right off the bat, most of them look like they're holding wands. One of them is holding a rod, but you immediately can spot a spellcaster and on all of them. Except there are 2 that come walking into the room armed heavily. Looks like they have, they're wearing, you see like leather armor, but they are wielding what looks like daggers and swords, but they also have what looks like arcane devices on them as they come stepping into the room. The last person to enter the room, however, does not look like some kind of magic spellcaster or anything like that. Comes striding just right down the center of all of them. But you see this dwarf with dark black hair. It does not look like, there's something about this dwarf's hair as he walks into the room, this thick beard. It's dark black, but not the color black. It doesn't look like it's on the spectrum of color. Instead, all of you who gaze at this dwarf, instead of feeling like you're looking at somebody who's made some color choices with their hair, instead, it looks more like you're looking at wisps of smoke from a blackened, burning pile of ancient wood. It's just like coiled around his face, kind of streaks down, almost looks like it's about to wither away, but it always reforms. It gives him this horrifying ethereal look, but his eyes are completely black. And Celestine, upon seeing this dwarf as he walks into the room, you immediately sense a familiarity between this dwarf and what you just encountered in that vision. As he comes striding into the room, you can sort of feel the presence. It's much more distant, but whatever this dwarf is or has been touched by feels very familiar to what you just encountered in that dream. He strides into the room with slightly like bizarre jerky movements. They don't look like ticks. It looks like he's kind of, it doesn't even look like he's present for a moment. He just comes walking in and he swerves his head almost in a serpentine-like fashion. And in his hand, he's clutching in both hands this warhammer. He just comes into the room and goes, he sets this warhammer down on the ground and regards everyone and says, Jamm Rangers, I take it. Not gonna be very much conversation. Not gonna be a lot of ultimatums, are there? We could go back and forth with oaths, but we all know it's time for bloodletting, don't we? The dragon's in here. You are gonna give the dragon to me, or I'll see each and every one of your bones turned into my bedposts. What'll it be?
I'm just gonna daunting roar at him.
Okay.
As a bonus action. As a bonus
okay.
action.
There's a roll for that, isn't there?
Bed.
Yes, that is a wisdom saving throw from the dwarf.
What is the area of effect on that? Oh, it's just on him?
It's
okay.
within 10 feet of me that can hear me.
Okay. What's this? Okay.
The DC, the wisdom saving throw, the DC is 13.
13?
It's not very high.
What is the effect of the roar?
Frightened of me until the end of my next turn.
Okay. The dwarf doesn't seem affected, but it's largely because the dwarf, every one of you can't quite put a finger on it, but you feel like you're not talking to a dwarf, or you're not, this is not like you see a dwarf, looks like a dwarf, his whole, everything, but there's something else going on there. However, you do see each cultist in the room take one step back as you emit this. Leonin just immediately just like fills the room with this incredibly powerful predatorial roar. And as you emit the roar, everyone else taking a step back, he hefts the warhammer up onto his shoulder and says, "I would have thought." And everyone roll initiative.
Ah! Bring it.
Tell me what you
get.
So we'll start with you, Wixel. What'd you get?
Rolling now, a 9. Not very great.
9.
Am I muted? Oh no, yeah. 9.
No, I got you. How about you, Glamma?
I got a 7.
7. How about you, Grawl?
19.
19. Ramska?
I got an 8.
An 8. And Celestine, Murder Kitten.
22.
Question for you, Eric.
Yeah, what's up?
Quick question. So before they entered the room, I mentioned that I was gonna go and kind of hide in the shadows. I am a rogue thief. Class. Is it still determined that I'm kind of hidden away, or
yes,
do I have to roll for that? Okay.
No, you're hidden away. They do not.
Cool.
They do not spot you. I rolled for them when they entered the
Awesome.
room. Yep, you appear to be hidden. They don't seem to be aware of you. All right, Celestine, we are starting combat. You see the violence is imminent. You have the first action. What would you like to do?
Can I see where Wixel hid, like whether she's near anyone in particular? Does she want a playmate?
Let's see. Oh, I see what you're trying to do. Why don't
Come,
you
come
why don't
join Grandma.
why don't you go ahead and make a perception check for me?
Oh no.
And
8.
8. Oh, well, I just went ahead and did a flat DC 10 difficulty. So you have no idea where Wixel disappeared
Okay.
to. Yeah.
I think I want to bite. Look, there are things that are easy to bite, and there are things that are fun to bite. I want to bite the thing that's fun to bite. So I want to pounce, I want to flap, and I want to death from above on Onyx Beard Weird Dwarf.
Okay. So you're basically going to do a like a flap, leap, dive kind of deal?
Yep.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. You're going to get advantage on the first attack roll because
I'm invisible.
Dwarf does not see you coming, has no idea you're there. There's an indication that something bad is about to happen when there's a sudden burst of wind right in front of his face, and then Celestine is on him. So go ahead and make your roll.
Let's see. That's 23 to hit.
23 definitely hits. Yup.
And that's I bite.
Chomp. Okay.
For 3 plus 6, 9 damage.
9 damage. Okay.
And now that I've bit down, I'm gonna tear.
Okay. This is the same attack action, right? Because you get 2.
Yes, it's an extra
Okay.
attack.
Okay. Then I'm gonna say advantage still holds.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Gracious
Mhm.
of you. Let's see. That's a 17 plus 9 to hit.
17 plus 9.
Uh,
That hits. Yep.
For 7 damage.
For 7 damage.
Yes. And now that I have yes. Now that I have bitten and torn, I'm just gonna sink my claws into them for a Claw Fury bonus action.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 hits.
For another 8.
8 points. So Celestine appears on top of the dwarf. The dwarf has just hefted the warhammer up onto his shoulder and is about to emit a battle cry to charge forward when a crystal dragon hatchling, basically a dragon the size of a German shepherd with a 6-foot wingspan, just blinks into existence right on top of him and starts going full velociraptor on him, just tearing into him, biting and chomping. The dwarf lets out a wild cry as this starts happening. You tear and slash, you bite into the split mail that he's got on. You do find purchase, though. As your crystalline teeth sink into that armor, Celestine, you can feel pearls of blood and rivulets of blood just start to spatter into your gullet as you chomp down on the meat that's waiting for you underneath. The dwarf is hefting up his axe or his warhammer, but he does not go down. And next up is going to be a cultist. That cultist immediately is going to charge Celestine, who is on top of the dwarf. Or actually, no, not going to charge Celestine, is actually going to cast a spell on Celestine. So Celestine, let's see. Casting time 1. Oh, it's a touch attack. Okay. So got to make a melee spell attack against Celestine. Okay, so melee spell attack. What's your AC, Celestine?
22.
Everyone is going to learn from this cultist's mistake. as he rushes forward and reaches out with this gloved hand and starts uttering some arcane incantation. Everybody who is sensitive to magic can start feeling necrotic energy start to swirl around the hand of this cultist. And Celestine just agilely tucks their wings in, and this cultist completely misses at the grab. The next attack is another cultist who, instead of going after Celestine with a touch attack, is actually going to have Celestine. I'm going to have Celestine make a dex save. Let's roll your dex save.
Okay, we can maybe live with this. See, come on. 16.
Okay. 16 will do it. So let's see. Do you take anything? I think it's save or suck. Yep, nothing happens. So this aura of energy begins to form around you, Celestine. But all that comes out of that is a beautiful light show as this light plays off the scales of a crystal hatchling. And we're on to the next cultist, who's starting to see the futility of attacking the crystal dragon and decides instead to turn their attentions to one of the other members of the party. I'm going to roll randomly to see who it's going to be.
They can't come towards me because they're frightened of me.
They actually... the effect of the frightening was only targeted at one person.
Okay.
They didn't have to roll a save at all.
It's everyone within 10 feet that can hear me.
Okay. Okay.
Creatures of your choice within 10 feet. So.
Okay, yeah, they weren't in range. The dwarf was, because he had stepped forward in the midst of the sort of like crescent, but they were not in range for that. So he's going to move forward, and let's see, who is he going to attack? I rolled in. Okay, let me look at my screen here. It's actually going to be you, Grawl. He's going to get up there and... What is your AC, Grawl?
Well, it's not a 22. It's a 14.
14? Okay. $14. No luck. The cultist gets up there and starts to cast a spell again. Same thing. You start to feel this necrotic energy forming around their hand, and then they point a wand at your direction. You manage to easily slide out of the way as this bolt of dark necrotic energy comes hurtling towards you and vanishes into the shadows behind you in the rear of the room. Grawl, that's going to be your action. You're next.
Sweet. Okay. I guess I'm going to attack back at the cultist who tried to get me.
Okay.
So here's the first attack. Hacha. That's not gonna hit. That's only well, it might hit. It's a 10, probably
That's not gonna do it, no.
Yep. Second attack. That will hit. That's a 17 plus 7, so 24.
What kind of weapon are you wielding?
I have a long sword of warning and a long sword.
Nice.
I dual wield. So
okay, you're
yeah.
Leonardoing this.
Yes.
Cool.
So let's see. That is going to be that's going to be 8 damage, and because I have the slasher feat, when I hit a creature with an attack that deals slashing damage, I can reduce the speed of that target by 10 feet until the start of my next turn. So that cultist speed is now reduced to 20 feet.
Okay. Nice. All right. So that cultist, as you get up there and start swinging the swords around, the cultist kind of stumbles back to try to dodge that first blade, but it actually brings him right into the second blade, and it impacts right on the side. You see him fold down next to it, and you hear a grunt. But as he pulls away from it, the effect of like slowing him down is you can see his knee buckle a little bit from the agony of getting slammed into the side with that longsword. He kind of huddles there for a second. His speed is now reduced.
Yeah, and as my bonus action, I am going to designate the dwarf as my prey.
Okay.
I'm gonna lay some Slayer's Prey on that boy.
All right. Done and done. There is a deadly elderly gnome in the shadows right now who's about to go. What does she do?
All right. So seeing what's happening, I'm going to attempt a sneak attack on one of the spellcasters.
Okay.
That the one nearest me. I'm assuming there's probably one near me.
Yeah, the one nearest you is the first one that tried to attack Celestine.
Yes, I didn't like that at all. So I'm going to try and do a sneak attack with my daggers, and I'm going to call it the Granny Gash. And as I sneak attack. Every attack will have a what? Sorry,
I said that's technically your second snort laugh tonight, by the way.
Oh, dang!
Just saying, I'm keeping track. Yep,
I'm trying to stay muted.
Yeah, nope, it's not working.
All right, here we are. Let me look at what I'm doing here. So with my sneak attack, what's happening? With my sneak attack, it'll deal an extra 4d6 damage.
You got to hit him. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm assuming I will. All right, let me roll to hit.
We shall see.
No, don't give me this. Roll. Oh dear.
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
I can see your roll. That's a 4.
Plus 7, 11. Oh,
11's not going to do it.
poppycock.
Are you
Nope.
hiding? Do you have advantage?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, you are
Sam.
attacking. You are attacking somebody who is unaware of you, and you technically they are flanked because they are attacking Celestine. So you
I
do
shall
have
roll
advantage.
again.
Roll another d20.
Advantage. Here we are. Okay, that's a lot better.
11.
18 total.
18. That's definitely going to hit.
Yeah.
So roll your
Right.
damage and then scroll down and click on your sneak attack damage.
All right, so let's
Add it
do
all up.
this. I know I'm using the dice here. Let's see. That's
Mm-hmm.
1d4
Yep.
plus
one thing I
4.
learned.
So 5 plus 4d6. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 5. 7.
If you scroll to the bottom of your character sheet, there should actually be a place that says sneak attack, and you can just click on that and it'll roll all the dice at once for you.
Respect your elders. Let me do this.
Okay.
13.
That shouldn't have been as funny as it was.
13
13 damage.
total?
Yes.
Including your first hit from your first hit?
Yes. I believe that
Okay.
was right. Yes. I rolled 4, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just you did the first attack and then you
Right.
just rolled a bunch of other times and added it all up. I'm just trying to get a total from how much you did from hitting.
13.
13 total.
I might have missed a die, but we'll just
Did you
pretend
roll
like
the
I rolled
actual
4.
weapon? The actual weapon damage?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the initial 5. Yeah. So
One second.
yeah, so that was right. I might have missed a dice, but
So 1, 2.
you threw me off count. Grandma can't keep her memory straight here. And then I want to immediately
your
back
sneak
to the
attack.
sheriff.
Okay, so hold up. Your sneak
Okay.
attack damage is 4.
4D. Oh my gosh, I was rolling D4.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
an
looking at this
idiot.
dice roll and I'm
I did
like,
it
this is
backwards. I did it
abysmally
backwards.
low.
Okay, let's
So, look,
try this again. So it was
so,
5.
So I recommend scrolling to the bottom,
Yep.
to the bottom of your character sheet, and you'll see a little section that says sneak attack. And
It's
all you got to
not-
do is
Nope, it's
all
not
you
letting me do that.
it's not letting you do that. Okay.
Nope. So I was like, wow. Okay, so 5, and then I'll just do this. Woo! 22 damage.
See, that sounds
That's
right.
better. That's better.
That sounds right.
That was the granny gash. Woo!
So real quick, Bonnie, just so you don't have to worry about this in the future.
All right, sorry.
If that's okay. You see how it says action and it has +7 and D4 and all
Yes.
that stuff. Okay, so if you mouse
If
wheel
I
down,
click it, it does it. Oh, I'm an idiot.
yeah.
Oh,
So
well.
all you have to do,
Wait,
it's okay.
no,
It's all about.
more. No, it doesn't. No, it's fine. No, that's right.
So
It's
all you have to
good.
do is click the damage box and it'll roll it for you. I had to learn all of this too. So no.
22. I usually use physical dice. I prefer
I know.
using physical dice, but
Sure.
I'm trying to get more tech savvy.
Yeah.
My grandkids are just helping me.
All right. So we're gonna say 22 points of damage.
22.
Okay, that sounds correct. All right.
Yes.
So
That was
one
just with
sec.
one dagger.
So 22 points. All right. So now you don't get sneak attack with the second dagger, just so you know.
That's
But you'll
fine.
be able. Yeah. All right. So go ahead and roll your second attack. Because you have 2 daggers, so you get to use a bonus action to hit him again.
Ooh,
So go ahead and make your roll.
18.
That definitely hits. Roll damage.
All right. Okay, just the regular kind now.
Mm-hmm.
4.
Nice. That's max.
Well, it was a 1d4 plus 2. So
This
rolled a 2.
cultist is bleeding profusely as you leap out of the shadows and stab twice right in the back. Celestine, you can hear a mortal crying out right next to you in agony as you can make out the gray bun hair from Wixel from behind this character, this cultist shoulder, just bounding up and down as she is just leaping and stab, leap, stab, leap, stab, and this cultist just recoils back and realizes that they are properly screwed right now. That's going to be Wixel's turn.
Yep. And if I can, I want to sneak back into the shadows. Or will that take another action?
You used your bonus action to get that extra attack for the dagger,
Yes.
which you can do with that. So,
well, everyone can see me now. Surprise!
yeah. Although, let me just double check your character sheet because I believe
I do have I have cunning action. Oh, I can take a bonus action on each of my turns. Oh, but I did.
Hold on, I'm gonna modify that for you. So
To take
because
dash.
you're dual wielding, right?
Yeah, it was my
Okay.
my little needles. My little.
Okay, so I selected your dagger and I put it on dual wield. So now
it.
down where it says bonus action, you'll click that because the trade-off to dual wielding is unless you have the feat dual wielding,
Got it.
yeah, unless you have the feat, you don't add your dex modifier to the damage. It's just a flat D4.
Got it.
But it's fine this time. Don't worry about it.
I didn't. Oh, I just did the. I see.
Yeah. It's totally fine.
I'm just reading what is on the paper.
You're like, damn it. It's just what it tells me.
I'm just doing what it tells me. All right.
All right. So Romska, you're up.
Romska, she's going to point her blade in front of her and dash towards, I guess, the nearest cultist. Who's the nearest cultist near?
On your side of the room, there are two fanatics that are also holding what look like wands and like crystal shards and whatnot that they're using for spellcasting focus. In the center of the room, if you can imagine the cultists, when they entered the room, they all formed sort of like a crescent formation, and the dwarf stepped out in the middle of them. And the dwarf is currently engaged with Celestine. One of these cultists has already been attacked, and one of the cultists has been attacked by Grawl, and the other one just got stabbed multiple times. On your side of the room, there are two cultists that are completely untouched.
Okay, I'll go to the nearest one. Romska will approach them, and with her saber, just start trying to carve up their neck and chest.
Okay.
So,
like a Thanksgiving turkey. All right, so go ahead and make your roll.
Okay. Oh goodness, 16 to hit.
That definitely hits.
Okay. Yes. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
you can hit again, or you can go ahead and roll damage, whichever you prefer to do first.
I think I'll roll for damage. Oh, I can hit again. What?
You should get 2 attacks. You're an 8th level fighter.
Oh, I thought I had to separate them, like completely separate, like hit, roll for damage, hit, roll for damage.
Oh, you can if you want to. Yeah, it's however you prefer to do it.
Oh, okay. I'll just do it this way. All right. So like at first, the first few slashes are going to carve out 13 points of health.
Okay. Ooh, ouch. I just looked at the weapon you're wielding too. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
All right. So
saber.
yeah, 13 points of health.
And then let's see. I'll save that for later. Well, so for the second attack, let's see. Oh, baby. 22 to hit.
22 definitely hits.
And then the second bit of damage will be 14 points.
Oof. Oof, oof, oof. That cultist is bleeding profusely now too. You've slashed up those robes, and this cultist also recoils, hands like up into his face to try to like block the incoming attacks as you get up into his face. Cannot stop the violence.
Romska just has a look of disappointment on her face as she's doing this. She was hoping for a fight, but seeing as how they're just kind of failing their attacks left and right, this fiendish grin that was almost on her face kind of has disappeared, and now she's just going about it like it's work.
All right. The dwarf is going to go. The dwarf pushes up his forearms, takes a step back, and in the same action goes, brings that warhammer down towards the crystal dragon. I will be surprised if he can land a hit on a 22 AC. The heaviness of the warhammer causes a heavy, like baritone, like whooshing sound over your head, Celestine, as you can feel this as the dwarf swings twice at you, and both attacks miss. That is going to be his action as he's trying desperately to bring you down. Next up is Glamma.
Okay, so first things first, I take out a little bottle and I do a little drop of molasses at the end of my wand.
Okay.
And then I shake it and I cast slow.
Uh-oh. Who's getting slowed?
Well, 6 creatures within a 40-foot radius of me that I pick. So, any guy left
1,
standing.
2, 3, 4. That will be all of them. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all of them. Yes.
Wonderful.
So it's a saving throw on that?
Yes, a wisdom.
Wisdom saves. Okay. What's the DC?
A 15.
Okay. Nope. Oh, yes, that guy saves. He's also the only one that hasn't. He's one of the few that hasn't been. Let's see. $15. No, I'd be shocked if any of these guys are able to. All right. Next up. Nope. Okay. And what is the effect of slow? Just so we have it all in.
Right. Well, if they are slowed, their speed is reduced by half. They take a -2 to their AC, and a -2 to AC and dexterity saving throws. They cannot use reactions. They can only use either a bonus or a action on their turn, not both. And regardless of their abilities or magic items. And they can only make one melee or ranged attack they can't make more than one ranged or melee attack on their turn. And if a creature attempts to cast a spell with a casting time of 1 action, they have to roll a d20, and on 11 or higher, the spell doesn't work.
Oh. That was a monster play. They are all slowed.
Great.
So the spell goes off. You all can visibly see a sudden shift in the battlefield as every single person that y'all are battling against, even their robes and their hair, things that are just normally moving in real time, all of them begin to slow.
They slow as the tip of the wand is rotating counterclockwise.
It's like the Final Fantasy effect.
That's much better. And then, let me ask you. So for a bonus action, the Mantle of Majesty, it does say that for 1 minute or until your concentration ends. Since slow is a concentration spell, does that limit my ability to use that bardic spell? Since it does have the word concentration in it, but it is not labeled as a concentration spell. I'm new to bards, so I'm figuring it out.
The Mantle of okay, let me look at this.
Yeah, the Mantle of Majesty, once per long rest as a bonus action, without expelling a spell slot for 1 minute or until concentration ends, you can cast. So it was.
Oh, so you have to stay concentrating on that ability then.
Right. So that's what I'm asking. Since I'm casting slow, and slow is a concentration spell, that hinders me from using this as a bonus action, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you would have to. Yeah, if you're going to use. Yeah, if you ever start up a new concentration action, then it ends the previous one. Yeah.
I'd never known about the inspirations that if they counted in the same category of spell casting.
Magic. Yeah, as a bonus action, you cast Command.
Yes.
Without expending a spell slot, which is rad.
Right.
So this is College of Glamour is such a great college. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish long rest. I'm sorry. Let me just give me one second. During this time, you can use Command as a bonus action.
It's right before, for 1 minute.
As a bonus action, you can cast Command without expending, and you can take on an appearance of unearthly beauty for 1 minute. Oh, no. That's just okay. And you take on you take on. Oh, I see. As a bonus action, you can cast command without expending a spell slot, and you can take on the appearance of beauty for 1 minute or until your concentration ends, as if you were concentrating on a spell. During this time, you can cast command as a bonus action without expending a spell slot. It's interesting the way that's worded.
Right? It was very confusing wording, so that's
yeah,
why I wanted
that's
check.
interesting the way that's worded. So so it's a 6th level ability. Because my instinct was immediately like, oh no, you can still cast command, but you won't be able to take on the appearance of unearthly beauty. But that is in fact the mantle
that
of
part
majesty.
I don't care about at all.
Yeah, but
which is interesting because that part isn't actually in my description on my sheet. Just the other version.
I think I'm going to rule as written for now, at least. I'm going to say that in order to have that mantle up, you have to be concentrating on it as it's written, as if you were concentrating on the spell. Yeah. So yeah.
Understood.
So casting slow is going to drop the mantle.
Great. Oh no.
Is slows concentration, correct?
Slows to concentration, but what's dropping?
So it works as if you were casting a spell that required concentration. Mantle of Majesty is. So
yes.
by casting slow, which is a concentration spell, you drop your concentration on Mantle of Majesty. Is kind of how I'm ruling this.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I was
just asking if I could cast. Yeah.
Right, yeah,
so
you were right.
I don't even cast Mantle of Majesty.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you were right. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Okay, then I end my turn because there's not much bonus actions for these.
Yeah. All right. Next up is the Cult Fanatic that just got chopped up real good by Romska. That Cult Fanatic is going to attempt to cast a spell on Romska. Let's see how this goes, because this has not been going well for them at all. I don't think they were properly prepared for what they were walking into. They're probably used to getting their way. What's your AC, Romska?
18.
18. There's no way that's hitting you. So again, necrotic energy begins to form at the tip of the wand, and this guy flings it like he's trying to sling like liquid off of the tip of like a bottle, just flings it at you. This black ink and necrotic energy flings towards you and goes right over your shoulder and just vanishes into the darkness. The one that was standing behind him jumps in and attempts to do the same. These are like really bad Death Eaters. Also going to cast the spell. So you said 19 was your AC?
It's 18.
18, okay. That one's actually going to hit you. So let's see. Okay. On a hit. Cool. Let me make this roll. Oops. So somebody finally got hit by the spell, and the damage. So take 12 points of necrotic damage.
Just checking. Did this person who made this spell roll first to see if it worked?
Oh, no, I did not. So before you do that, he's got to roll a d20. What does he have to roll?
He has to roll. If he rolls an 11 or higher, the spell does not work, and they've used their turn.
I've rolled an 18, so nothing happens. You just see him cast the spell, and it goes and just dissipates. The arcane words are not forming as they need to. He forgets to enunciate when he's using the verbal components, and kind of like casts it faster than he was actually able to utter it. And so the arcane energy forms around the wand and just sputters out. And that is going to be the end of the round. We are on round 2, and it's Celestine.
To clarify,
Mm-hmm.
that spell that did that you did just do will take effect next turn. It just slows it. It doesn't cancel it.
Oh,
so
I
that
see. So
spell
it's like
will hit you next time, but it does not hit you this time.
Okay, so it is like traveling towards. It's basically the energy of the spell is currently lazily traveling towards Romska right now.
It's like that one scene in Mass Effect with that one bionic. Oh, no, anyways.
Yeah.
You know,
bionic god. Okay, so Celestine, you're up.
I don't like this dwarf, but the dwarf's very biteable.
The dwarf is biteable.
Dirty 20 biteable.
Yeah, that's a chomp.
For 11 munch damage.
Okay. 11 munch damage.
25 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
For 10 crunch damage.
Fighters, man. All right.
And 24 to hit for 2
points of damage.
scritch damage.
Scritch damage. I just pictured the door going, ah! Oh, thank you. Yes, that was
Yeah,
right,
right there,
where
right
that-
there.
yeah, right there. My goodness.
Oh, yeah, good spot. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Celestine, you're tearing into the armor at this point. As the dwarf has pushed you back, you're right back on top of them in an instant. And you can see as every time your claws sink in, every time your head snakes back and bites into this creature, a little bit more like clear wear and tear, like blood spattering out of his mouth and collecting between his teeth. You can see, which is giving him a horrifying countenance with those abyssal black eyes as he's staring at you. Celestine, you get the impression as you're chomping into this dwarf, there's not a lot there. You're getting the impression that especially in your time being with the Star Jam Rangers on Homestone, you've gotten to know a little bit about how some of the races out here in the flow and in the crystal spheres work. And as we've stated multiple times, Spelljammer is just lousy with creatures that like to possess people's brains. This has a feeling of similarity to it. Like if there is a dwarf in here, he is long since been suppressed or pushed back, and you are attacking what feels like just pure evil. And that's going to be your action. So next up is going to be the cult fanatic that just got stabbed into their family tree by this angry gnome that's behind them. This cultist whirls on you.
The Granny Gash strikes again!
And comes at you with a dagger. What is your AC?
Sorry, I muted myself again. 14, dear.
14.
Yes.
14. So one attack is going to land on you. And pulls a dagger and just stabs at you. It just grazes your arm. You take 5 points of melee damage, slashing damage. I'm sorry, piercing damage.
Oh, dear.
Dagger just cuts right past your arm.
It's just a flesh wound, dear.
And that's his action. He actually attacked you twice, but he's like trying to anticipate your moves. You can see blood has started to just soak the front part of those black robes. It's glistening in the light here.
Yes.
The second cult fanatic, which is currently second cult. Actually, this fanatic is going to. Oh, this fanatic was also trying to attack Celestine. Is let's actually, I'm going to roll here.
Gosh,
Does anybody here speak Draconic aside from Celestine?
I can.
But do you innately?
I do not innately.
Okay. So Celestine, you hear the language of your people, as it were. The beautiful sort of like almost it's like that beautiful, like exact, abrupt, direct kind of blunt instrument of Draconic. Just you can hear somebody speaking it to one of the others. You catch a few of the words of "Don't harm the hatchling, kill the others." At that point, the cultist turns and goes after Wixel.
Why me?
Because you're there.
I'm so innocent.
What's your AC again?
14.
Yeah, no, they're just trying to stab you, Wixel, but you see this coming. You don't know what's being said, but you hear them shouting at each other. One of them turns, their hood almost falls back as they lunge towards you with a dagger and try to stab at you. No luck.
Great. I also have Uncanny Dodge as one of my...
Well, you didn't get hit, so you don't have to worry about it.
Well, I dodged it anyway, just to spite them. Ha!
That last one is currently getting cut up by Grawl and is going to attempt to hit Grawl.
I'm sorry, it's Ungranny Dodge. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Grawl, what's your AC?
14.
All right, so you're going to take, from this first attack, you're going to take 5 points of piercing. And that's it. Oh, you know what? They don't get a second attack because they're slowed. Or no, they get one attack action. Isn't that correct? Does it slow?
They
give
get
them...
they can only take an action or a bonus action, not
Okay.
both, and they can only do one attack per turn, whether melee or by arrow.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So okay, then I'm gonna say because they get multi-attack, which means every time they take the attack action, they get 2 melee attacks.
Then they don't anymore.
Then they don't anymore. So Bonnie, if you could please go back. We're gonna take a step back in time and erase the damage you just took. You took 5 points, I believe.
I did. I'm back to my originally. Oh, it was like, oh, I'm healed.
Yeah. What happened?
Gotta love retconning because we're fabulous.
Yeah. Thanks to Glamma, they cast JK LOL and you don't get hit. So now it's going to be Grawl's turn. As this Grawl, you watch with sort of a hypnotic amusement as this cultist just lunges, and the speed in which he's moving is telegraphing everything. And it's much like Neo and Agent Smith at the end of the first Matrix movie. We're just kind of watching the dagger as this guy comes stabbing towards you. It's your action. What would you like to do?
It's going to be a 16 for the first one.
He is at -2 to his AC, so that's definitely going to hit.
Sweet. That's going to be 10 for the first attack.
Okay.
And then second one, not quite as good, is only going to be, oh wait, still a 16.
That definitely hits. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be another 11 points of damage to him.
Ooh. Also showing signs of the end is nigh as the blood has begun to soak into the robes, and you can even see it's sort of a grotesque display as the cultist starts to contort with the blows moments after the blows have hit. So it's like this delayed reaction as the slow spell is just kind of rendering everything that this cultist is experiencing in slow time. Wixel, you're up.
All right. Well, the one that I've already messed up, I feel like I can just take out. I gave him the granny gash earlier. It's time for the senior citizen slash. Here we go. I'm gonna use my daggers again because they're fun.
Okay.
Let's see.
You do have.
That's 23. Yes, dear.
Okay, so you're 23 to hit.
Yes. With one dagger, I can roll for the next.
That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
All right. And that wasn't a sneak attack, so I don't get my sneak attack, right?
Right.
7
points.
Yes,
Okay.
and I can roll for dagger number 2.
If you want to stab a corpse, you absolutely can roll for dagger number 2 if you want to.
Oh, screw that! Where's the other one?
That dagger, the precision in which you stab between the ribs and pull the dagger out, he's falling in slow motion. It is, again, a grotesque display of instant death as this cultist contorts and begins to drift towards the ground, as the slow spell is just moving him 2 steps slower than everybody else. So it almost looks like an over-exaggerated death as he just goes and hits the ground. The dwarf is now in front of you with Celestine basically chomping and slashing at him. And then right behind Celestine is another cult fanatic that has tried to attack them and has since given up.
Good idea. All right. What did I just do? The senior citizen slash. It's time for the jovial jab. I mean, you can tell that this is what I've been doing on my character sheet for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
Making it.
So this fanatic is behind Celestine, but this one also just attacked you last round. So you can go ahead and.
Well, I think the jovial jab is.
It was a little too giggly.
A little too is jonesing for a fail here.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you're on your own, little one.
Okay, so you slash at that cult fanatic, even with his reduction to the AC. You stab a little wide, kind of using a little bit too much of the momentum as you kill this first cultist. You lunge towards the second one, but in all honesty, that slowness of the movement, it kind of throws you off. You were expecting him to dodge the way a normal person does, but in this case, wasn't where you were expecting to be, as you just stab at the air.
That's all right. I got more puns later.
Ramska, you're up.
All right, so there's like some magic coming towards me still, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna use my bonus action to Misty Step behind who cast it at me.
Okay.
With one hand behind her back, Romska is going to attempt to run through the cultist.
Oh, that's right.
26 to hit.
You're a Gith. I forgot you could Misty Step as a bonus action. 26 definitely hits. That is vicious use of the bonus action. Was that a nat 20? Did you crit?
It was an 18.
Oh, one away. One away. Because you're a champion, right? So you crit on 19.
So
you were one away from critting. How much damage is that?
It was 15.
Okay, well, he had 6 hit points, so.
And then, how's he looking?
He's looking like you just opened up the upper part of his torso and split him down to his sternum. That's how he's looking. The saber just bites right through the bone, and you can see that black robe turn into a soaked black robe. There's a gurgling sound. In his world, he just cast the spell on you, and you blurred past him and disappeared, and then he was dead. His body is going to hit the ground in about half an action here, just as he's falling just slightly slow. You still have an extra attack. You can take a move action here because you Misty Stepped. So you can still move and attack because you're still on your attack action.
Well, this one's dead, so I guess the next cultist,
right next to him,
nearest one. Yeah, I will, I guess, prepare or attack. Yeah, they're right next to each other, right? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, they were next to each other.
Again. As this one's falling, Romska is gonna just like grab a piece of his robe and like clean the blade, and then in that same movement, just like
nice.
Go for the next one. Oh, baby, that's a 22 to hit.
I'm giving you a point of inspiration for that description.
Thank you.
22 hits. Roll damage.
All right, and then that's going to be 13 points of damage for this next one, just carving.
Okay, 13 points.
Woo!
Yeah, you can feel the blade bite into this one, and you can see even underneath the robes, the stringy black hair that's underneath through the dark eyes that are looking out. You can see the look of alarm as he can see you moving at a much faster pace than him. Real quick, Gina, do they get a saving throw every round? Versus they do? Okay.
Yeah, yes, at the end of their
turn?
turns. Yeah.
Okay. So I should have rolled for those other guys. Let me just roll for them real quick.
Okay.
Apologies for not reminding you.
That's okay. They're not gonna. They need a DC 15. Is that correct?
Yeah, they just get to re-roll their wisdom save every time to see if it ends.
Okay.
But
okay. Oh, one of them broke free. Actually, that's fine. Okay, so I mean they're dead. So, Romska, that's going to be the end of your action.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just stand there and just turn towards the rest of them. Bleed at the ready. So,
it is now the dwarf's turn, and let's see what happens, shall we? Oh, okay. So, nope. This one. Okay, the dwarf is no longer slowed, but that one hammer attack it's just moving too slow to catch up with you, Celestine. Just comes down and crashes against the floor. Even moving at slow, it clatters against the stone floor, missing you completely.
I pounce on the arm and I bite it. I expend a superiority die for a riposte.
Okay, make your attack. And don't forget to add the damage to the riposte.
Yes, that was an 18 on the die.
That hits.
For 18 damage.
Celestine, tell me how he dies.
I pounce on the arm, and I feel a bit of give to it. And I've heard these things say that I'm not enough of a threat. They need to focus on other people and not me. So I need them to focus on me. So I need to show them how much of a threat I am. So I take the arm and I pull it, and I pull him and push him down onto the ground. And I rip his throat out. And I spit it at one of the others so they know I'm scary.
something gory and bloody lands the feet of one of the other cultists. It's unrecognizable what it is. But what is very clear is half of the dwarf's neck is missing, and an artery has been opened up underneath the arm in which you bit. There is a gory, spewing, anime-style bloody mess underneath your claws, Celestine, as the dwarf gurgles and dies rapidly in front of you. Even as the slow spell begins to break, there's this brief moment where the blood goes and explodes outwards, and the dwarf crumples to the ground. You can all see this horrific scene as the murder kitten has their day.
Kids these days, so desensitized to violence.
Impressive.
Glamma, it's your turn.
Who's left?
There are, let's see, 1, 2, there are 3 fanatics left, and they look completely undaunted.
Interesting.
Utterly, completely undaunted.
Daunt them.
Okay, well, here's the interesting thing. While I have I'm a very specific kind of fairy godmother, and while I have a concentration up, there's not a lot I can do. But what I can do is I can give a very beautiful backhanded compliment. So while I'm clapping and celebrating Celestine's vicious takedown, she has put her wand like under her like in her little penguin armpit, and is just flap clapping. And over her shoulder just goes, "You're doomed. You won't stand a chance." and just a small comment, and cast vicious mockery on one of the leftovers.
Okay.
For 5 points of damage.
This is the first time I've run a game where someone was killed by vicious mockery. There's no saving throw. Is that correct? You just do the damage?
Yeah.
Is there saving throw?
No.
Yeah. No.
Wait.
Yeah.
You mocked him to death.
Wait.
Jamm.
No. Wait. Whoa. It's wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom save. Okay. It's fine. Let's see. And the DC is 15?
Correct.
Oh, he saves.
No!
He totally saves. I rolled an 18.
But
yeah, actually, for whatever reason, the fanaticism of these cultists, undaunted, does not react.
Well, neither is my optimism.
Damn it. All right. Next up is actually that last cult
As
fanatic.
a bonus action.
Oh, yes.
I still barely paying any mind. While clapping, I kind of just a quick sneeze, and I cast Bardic Inspiration on Girl. So you can add a 1d8 to all of your rolls now.
Okay. You are Bardic Sneezespiration, and you now have a d8 to your rolls that you can add. It's once to either an attack roll or damage roll, right?
Savings, attacks, and
yeah.
Savings, ability checks, saving throws, and attack rolls.
Okay, cool. You can do it once, I believe.
No, it's for 10 minutes.
For 10 minutes?
One time within that 10 minutes, though.
Yeah, once within that 10 minutes.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, just making sure. Okay. The last cult fanatic is going to throw themselves at Romska in a desperate attempt to kill the Githyanki, and here it comes. What is... Oops, nope. You don't get it. Let me make the wisdom save. Nope. Still slowed. One attack slashes out with this dagger and misses you utterly, Romska. We are
I don't even think Romska moves. Romska's just hoping for some sort of...
Please. Anything.
Can we get a challenge here, people? Hello? I'm just kidding. I don't want to mock the DM. Never mind. I said nothing.
Celestine, you're up. It's the top of the 3rd round.
What do I see first? How many are left?
Well, there is a body in front of you. There is a body to your left that has been stabbed by a gnome. There is a fresh cultist that is attacking Wixel just about 5.5 feet from you. Then there is another cult fanatic that is yet to die that is also turning its attention towards Wixel as well. On the other side of the room, there is only one cult fanatic. Oh no, I'm sorry. That last cult fanatic is actually engaged with Grawl right now. But on the other side of the room, there's a cult fanatic that looks relatively untouched that's in the middle of a life and death fight with Romska.
So to clarify, there are or aren't two on or about to be on Wixel right now?
There's one on Wixel.
Okay. Okay, so everyone has their own pretty much. Oh, that's so nice. I'm going to pounce on that one because they're the closest.
Okay.
Uh,
Battlemaster Dragon Hatchling.
Thank you, dear.
pounce. That's
Just real quick, because we might get questions, but hold that thought, Sam, just so everybody knows, because there's going to be a lot of questions about this, if you don't know yet. We are using a homebrew system for Council of Forms to create Celestine's character sheet, and Celestine is actually playing a level 6 character. This is a level 6 Dragon Hatchling to balance it out. So that's just so everyone is wondering what Sam is rolling and how Sam is doing all of this. So actually 2 levels lower than everybody else.
also, if you hear my wisdom checks, they are not impressive.
Yeah.
So that was, I rolled an 11, so I expend a superiority die for precision attack.
Yeah.
And got a 6 on that, so I think that's a total of 17.
Yeah, it hits. Mm-hmm. You're going to add that. Does that damage goes to the roll too, doesn't it? For a precision attack, does it add damage, that superiority die, to the damage roll?
No, that one does not.
Okay.
That one's
Okay,
just
cool.
to hit.
That's to hit. Okay, cool.
Because it doesn't impute a status effect. And then 13 damage
13.
on that bite.
Oh man, there's a crystal dragon on this guy now. That's not good. All right.
Second bite is 22 to hit.
Definitely hits.
For 14 damage.
14. All right.
And Claw Fury, which is really just like I'm batting it into Wixel to play with next, is 27 to hit.
Jesus.
For 3.
For 3 points?
Yeah.
You can see the tearing action that is going on behind this cultist as he throws his head back and screams out. This cult, actually, you can see the hood does fall off of this cultist as he does this. You see a frail-looking young man that might have been in his 20s with a gaunt face. His eyes are completely black, and the hair is doing the same effect. Looks like wisps of smoke that have gathered around his head, kind of drifting through the air like seaweed in the water. And you are watching blood spatter behind him, Wixel. It is now Celestine. That was Celestine's turn. It's going to be that cult fanatic. That cult fanatic, as he's being slashed up behind, completely ignores Celestine and lunges at you again, Wixel.
Oh, dear. Well, come on then. Here we go.
And he is no longer slowed. What's your AC?
14, dear.
He's going to hit you.
All right. Well.
You're going to take... Now you take 5 points of damage.
Ow.
It found its way back to you.
It always comes back like a boomerang.
Leaps forward and makes a stabbing motion. A few feet across the room, another cultist is going to lunge. This cultist also made their save, amazingly enough. And this cultist is going to attack Grawl. And 13. Does a 17 hit you? Grawl?
Yeah.
Okay. Grawl, you were going to take a monster 4 points of damage, of piercing damage, as the dagger finally finds its way through that thick leonine fur of yours that's laid down finally against your skin, and your armor just stabs into you. And it's now your turn.
That hurt.
Ow.
Ow. Here we go. The first hit is going to be a dirty 20.
That hits.
For Jeebus. That's going to be 9 points damage on the first one.
You kill him.
Cool.
You say, ow, and slash upwards. You just see an arc of gore as he drops to the floor and crumples to the ground dead. The last thing he ever heard.
Then I guess I would then move over to where Romska is and provide her with some backup and use my second attack on the dipshit that's dealing with her. So.
Okay. Go ahead and stride up to him. I'll give you advantage on this attack.
Oh, cool.
Because this person will be flanked at this point.
I wish I got critical hits on 19s, but that was a 19 plus 7. So that's going to be a 20.
Yeah, you're going to hit. You need a 13 or better.
To hit, I think.
You're going to hit.
Cool. And that's max damage on that die. So that's going to be 12 damage.
12 points. Okay. I'm just you got a friend now.
That's me, I think.
Yep, the Leonin strides over there and buries one of the long swords into the back of this guy. Wixel, it is now your turn. There is one person standing that just tried to stab you and got you for 5 points.
How dare you? Ouch. Well, I don't like that at all. You know what they're getting? The knitting Nana Nick.
Roll it.
Cool.
Cool.
That's a 15, dear.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
Yes, of course it is.
Go ahead and roll that damage.
All right. 7.
Yeah, that is a dead cultist.
That's what I call the old maid mutilation. Oh!
The cultist folds onto the dagger stab into his gut, and when you pull it out, you realize that was the only thing keeping him standing, and he just bowls over. When he hits the ground, you can see the entire part of his back has been completely exposed as the leather armor had been slashed apart by the crystal dragon behind you. Romska.
That is still alive? The one that
yes.
Roll has... Okay.
Still standing.
Well,
I know better than to take a lady's kill.
No, by all means. However,
Romska's already deeply unsatisfied by this combat.
Yeah, Romska's just...
They sent in a bunch of red shirts. This is annoying.
Yeah. Romska turns to Grohl, thanks him, and then turns back to work and is going to just simply, just slash at this. 12 to hit? Oh, I guess maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
But
she's off.
Did you get the bardic inspiration? Was that you?
No, it was
me.
Oh, it was you. Okay. Yeah.
I just didn't need it.
So I guess
you didn't need it. But you felt inspired.
So inspired.
Yeah.
You get one more attack.
And I missed it. 13 to hit.
13 hits. That's what you needed.
Oh, it does? Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess the first slash, Grohl's attack kind of maybe moved them a little out of my range. So Romska's just and moves a little bit closer and then gets that second attack in for 13 points of damage.
That is a dead cultist. As that body hits the floor, the moment that body hits the floor, every body every cultist that has died, including the dwarf, immediately begins to evaporate into shadow right in front of your very eyes. Just
before one disappears, can I run to the dwarf?
Yes, they're currently dematerializing.
Correct. Right before they dematerialize, I want to cast Speak with Dead on them.
It's not going to work. I'll go ahead and
No!
You won't. Yeah, there's not going to be. That is the unfortunate side effect of killing these guys is they immediately they become immune. They cannot be harmed, and they cannot be animated. They cannot be raised. They cannot be interacted with. They just so immediately as you rush up there, you begin to utter the arcane words. But before you expend the spell energy, you already can feel the presence of this creature's soul just vanish before your very eyes. I will say this though. Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Glama.
20. Dirty.
Okay. that as you move forward, your knowledge of the arcane, especially of how this spell works, as you rush forward and you see it dematerializing, you think there might be a way to use magic to sort of grab hold of this creature before it passes into the next realm, as its soul is being pulled away. And as you reach out to summon that forward, you feel there was nothing there to begin with. You extend your hands and it's like reaching out into the open air. If you were to cast a detection spell, this thing may not even have registered in front of you and just kind of drifts away. Even the armor, everything on just...
Well, that's peculiar.
Even the blood in the room kind of just turns into wisps of this dark, like slimy energy that kind of drifts up into the air, evaporates in front of all of you.
What sort of pact or spell or what sort of thing has that sort of power over one's mortal and spiritual being?
With that Arcana check, I would say there's no known spell really that does that effect, but it might be something like a warlock pact or some kind of
a pact,
like some kind of something has some at some point these creatures had surrendered or had taken from them their essence, their souls. And you were all about that point. From behind the chest, you see the Githzari just kind of peek up.
It's all right now. You can come out.
And glances at everyone, and slowly you see Javik stand up and says, "They're gone."
You might want to get your door fixed.
Sorry for the mess, dear.
What mess? Kind of motions to it. No, you've done so well. I apologize. I am not a fighter. I am a scholar that serves the dragon. Razin has ordered me to bring you to them. If you would be willing, it's not safe to stay here. We must leave the Rock of Bra.
Is anyone injured?
I was well bolstered by your sparkly effects.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I suffered barely a scratch.
I actually did suffer a scratch, as I show like the little scratch that gave me 5 points.
I think you'll live.
I think I'll be fine here. Nothing that a little yarn patch won't fix.
And with that,
and you, little one, are you all right?
that is exactly the question that it was about to be asked. As you say that, the Githzari wanders up and says, you don't look injured. You seem like you're okay.
I smeared the paint, and just where there was blood, the bronze paint has faded away, so there's some sparkle under it and a little scraping away around the claws and the snout from where they've been attacking.
I'm just
I
gonna
just look back up to Wixel, kind of.
I'm just gonna put my hand there and be like, "It's all right, dear. I told you we can't dim that shine of yours."
I'll lean into it. I'm glad you're not mad.
Of course not, dear.
All right. I'm going to ask everybody to make a perception check.
Well, that doesn't sound good. Perception. It's all right. I'm good at
19.
19?
18.
I also got a 19.
Okay.
I got an 18.
Wow, I rolled shitty, but I got a 12. I rolled a 2.
Wow. Okay.
I got a party who's good at stuff.
That scratch really threw me off.
Remarkably, none of you see it. All right. With that, Jasek says, "Well, we should leave here immediately. You have a ship?"
That's not good.
Hate that. Hate it.
When 19s don't see it.
Yeah. Somebody on Twitter said, "What's the worst thing a GM could say to you?" And I was like, "Roll perception," and you all fail, and just goes, "Okay, moving on." Worst thing a GM can say to you.
Never good.
So we're
Yeah.
leaving? We just got here and we're leaving?
It's too dangerous to stay. Do you have any other business here on the rock?
Well,
Well-
no, I suppose our business was being ambushed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kesenia the cranky seems not like one we really need to see anymore.
No,
Since it seems like it was a trap.
She may have been the one to send these cultists. It's possible she is double dealing. Whatever information she was going to give you, I promise you my master can give it to you and is much more of a friend than this information broker.
In any case, staying here much longer is a bad idea, so we should start moving.
Agreed.
All right. I guess my flippers will just have to deal with it. Celestine, may I ask, do you know what they said when they were speaking in Draconic? It's a beautiful language, but I only know it some of the time.
They were saying the dragon is very fierce and I'm scared.
Roll deception. Would you like to roll insight?
Sure.
Go ahead.
24.
Good.
24
No,
insight?
not even close, like 15.
Celestine looks at you with those wide dragon hatchling eyes and is lying.
I'm sure they did.
Give a quick little a little flipper rub on the cheek.
Um,
Wow, 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 wow.
and with that, Jacek says, we should leave immediately. We cannot stay here any longer.
Well, then start scooting that boot.
Well, I don't know where your vessel is docked.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were going on your vessel.
I do not have one. I was an agent here for the dragon.
Follow me.
I pull my rod out from the holster in the back and use it as my cane. So as you saw Wixel being like fast and quick and everything, all of a sudden she goes right back to the little old low granny.
You're so Yoda.
Yeah,
Just moving
yeah.
slowly.
I'm
Yeah.
Yoda, finally.
Yeah. You all leave what appeared to be this sort of illusionary hideout that was being used as sort of like an agent's den for this Gisari. And by the way, as you were all leaving, it's not a threatening glance, but Jacek does look in your direction, Romska, as there is an ancient enmity between Githzari and Githyanki that stretch back ages. Just kind of glances at you for a moment, almost just like someone making sure, just someone making sure.
Romska.
Go ahead.
Well, the glance that Romska returns to Javik is just neutral. It's just
okay,
disarming.
That seems to be set somewhat at ease at that, and just kind of when sees you glancing back, kind of just gives a quick nod as he averts his eyes just to like not provoke, and continues walking along the path. He's that confidence that he had when he found you all in the tavern has somewhat faded a little bit as when you all emerge from this hideout, glances left and right up and down the streetways through this alleyway and says, "Okay, it looks clear. We should go now to the docks immediately. I know where we can find my master. She will be able to tell you everything you need to know. At least that is my hope."
Well, that
Why-
would be very helpful.
Any chance to have an alliance with the Starjam Rangers would be very beneficial to us as well.
We should all keep alert once we get to the ship. It will take me an hour to attune. In that time, anything could happen. So,
Agreed. I shall answer any questions I can, but we must hurry. This will
Very
not be
well.
the last cultists that come for you.
Let's go.
First
you
time
all-
that's been said to me.
And you all shuffle off towards the docks. And this is a good spot to take our 10-minute break. So let's break for 10 minutes and we'll come back. We'll be at the docks of the Rock of Brow. and however you want to pronounce it, Brawl. And we'll see you in 10 minutes, y'all. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We are back from our break here at Star Jam, and we're going to do a quick correction. I had mentioned right before the break that Sam's character was level 6, and I forgot that we were actually playing with the revised rule set for the Council of Worms, which actually balanced out the Dragon PC characters in the second incarnation. So the revised version actually places Celestine at level 8. So everyone is actually at the same level and same power. And I have given the players magical items, so that's what you're also seeing, and why you're seeing incredibly high ACs and so on and so forth. So just as a quick rules clarification, if everybody is interested, we're going to go ahead and pick this up just to keep things moving along. Not a lot of else happening. As you all basically race towards the docks, towards the port, where you once again see some of the great spell jamming ships that are currently docked there. The Dragonfly ship, which by the way needs a name, is currently docked right now in the port. Nobody is bothering it. You do see QueueTimes coiled up on one of the wings, gazing out and seeing you all approach. You see the rainbowed wings spread to acknowledge y'all's approach. And as you approach, the wings fold and the snake just dives straight for the deck and just coils up and waits for you all at the ramp. And upon seeing you all return, you see this sort of confusion on the Viper face. Is everything all right? Why are you back so soon?
Oh,
Who
it
is
was an
this?
ambush.
Oh, aren't they always? One way or the other.
Unsurprisingly.
So you can go and tell the captain and the beautiful giant unicorn that I was right, that it was a non-trustworthy informant.
Well, did we learn anything? It seems you've picked up someone. Hello, my name is Apollos, and you are and the Gethazari takes a step forward and eyes the QueueTimes just little, kind of narrows the eyes a little bit and says, my name is Jazik. I've never encountered a QueueTimes before. I wasn't sure if you were an illusion or not, but here you are. Oh, sorry, that's actually the wrong voice. Let me take that back. Getting my NPCs mixed up. I've never seen a QueueTimes before. Wasn't sure if you were real, but here you are. And the snake just watches and interesting. Well, if we're departing, shall we?
Celestine prances up the gangplank and curls and starts turning down toward their proper footrest position during attunement procedures.
Okay.
They are very excited.
I'm just going to head to the kitchens and make everyone a snack. Can't promise that it'll be edible, though. Remember, I'm not the cook.
All right.
I'll take first watch.
Apollo says, I will watch with you. And you, my friend, make yourself comfortable, or if you prefer, you can help Wixel in the kitchen. Jazik just says, thank you. I think I'll make myself useful up here if there's anything I can do. There is nothing you can do, my friend. Well, then I will stay close to the crystal dragon. I think my master would wish it that way. Suit yourself.
Make things really cramped in the helms in the cockpit. Okay, cool.
I'll be on the deck.
If you want, I can try to shrink him.
No. The helm is actually, the helm is positioned towards. It's on the second deck, and the helm is positioned in what would basically be the galley area. So there's the helm, which is on the sort of like a raised platform near the two great viewing ports that function as the dragonfly's eyes. And before the helm is essentially the galley area. So there's two large tables and plenty of seating area. This is where y'all fought the Beholder, or the Mind Flayers spawn and slaughtered them.
I can have snacks while being a foot rest.
Well, Wixel is making snacks, so yes.
Best ever.
Again, can't promise that it's edible, dear.
Well,
not quite good at sandwiches.
The hour passes as you sit and Grawl, you just closing your eyes and feeling the ship underneath you as you attune slowly to the helm. Sinking your consciousness back, you begin to sink back into the chair. Your eyes roll back as the lids close. And after an hour of attuning to the ship, you can all feel the ship come to life as the helm, the Spelljammer helm that you sit upon, begins to glow. This ambient sort of like outlines of blues and arcane purples, tracing runes that ignite underneath your clawed fingers, and just the great sails of the dragonfly's wings begin to extend outward and fold up, extend, catching starlight. And with that,
thank goodness we're off.
Jasek says, I can show you on the map where my master rests, but I must stress something to all of you. My master lives in exile. She hides from a great evil and has been hiding for some time. I function as her eyes and ears, as her agent out into the world, as it were. And so I must insist that all of you swear yourselves as Stargem Rangers to the secrecy of the location of which I am about to show you. I cannot mark it permanently on your map, but I will show you where they make their lair here in realm space.
Mm-hmm. I'd give you a pinky if I had one. Yeah, I swear.
Wave your fin.
Just the captain salute tap.
Okay.
Actually, I'll do you one better.
She casts Mage Hand and it floats over with a pinky out.
Okay. This ambient, glowing blue large hand just floats over. It's sort of translucent. It's not quite like Bigby's hand, but it just kind of drifts over, and it holds up the finger, and he says, latches his pinky around it and says, this is a symbol of trust, I take it.
Yes, I learned it a long time ago in my tribe. A couple of merchants were passing through, and that's how they made deals with their phalanges.
Fine.
Wow.
Right. Fine. You are a Stargem Ranger, and I trust you then. Your reputation precedes all of you. And I have the word of everyone else. I take it. I trust.
I don't know if I can speak in this state, but I mean,
that's a good question. I think you actually, yes, you can. You can communicate.
Okay, then yeah, I think Grohl just kind of gives a low growl in the affirmative.
Yeah,
I'm there, right? Yeah.
Sure, yeah, I'm assuming everybody is at this point.
Yeah. I'm just gonna look at him and be like, dear, I've been around for a long time, and with the things that I've done, I should be in exile too. So yes, you have my word.
Apollos nods and says, we work, as you well know, for Autolycus. And Autolycus does not work with anyone that they do not trust. You have our word. We will not reveal the location of your master's den or lair, you said? Yes, my master is a dragon. Ah, well, I could see how that would be useful. And looks over at Celestine immediately. Then yes, you have our word. I think I can speak on behalf of the crew.
I guess so. You have our word. If the whole crew trusts you, then I guess I will as well. Do not fail us.
There seems to be some comfort at the way you say that, almost like the Githzare seems to be familiar with that attitude coming from a Githyanki, and nods and moves over to the map and unfolds the celestial star map that you have all been using to navigate through realm space. You, Grawl, having full perception over everything that happens in the ship, can see perfectly what this map is revealing. You see, it looks like a map of Selune's tiers. You see the city that, of course, that can be found on the surface of Selune. You also see a couple of docks that you weren't aware of before on this map that he's unveiled. It looks like there's some like secret ports in Selune's tiers. Don't look like pirate ports. They don't look like they have like any of the names that you're familiar with. But you do see that out far beyond the most of the major celestial bodies here in realm space, you see an uncharted rock that hovers what looks like very close to the edge of the crystal sphere, far, far out from beyond the star. And he marks it on the map. Says, "This is where we will be heading."
Understood.
And the ship just begins to pull away and accelerates. At full speed, you'll be able to reach this location on the edge of realm space in about a day and a half of fast travel. So you all have about a day and a half if you'd like to have any interactions or anything. Otherwise, he just kind of settles into a chair, slides in, and just... I have spent a long time on the Rock of Brawl. Long time. It is strange to be leaving. I wonder if you might be willing to tell me how it was you came together, how these Celestine and the rest of you all met. How is it that you... I'm trying to understand why it is Celestine is being hunted. I only know that my master is interested in helping.
I only met them a few days ago, but I can tell you in that short amount of time, I understand they're quite special.
Indeed. I admit I have never seen a crystal dragon before.
But you might want to ask someone else. It's truly it's not unheard of, but definitely rare. But I was not there when they hatched, and you'd have to ask the others. Though I've heard the story many times. Please tell it. I love this story.
Well, a few of us were there, but we couldn't recall anything about ourselves. It was quite an ordeal. We knew we had the natural ability to fight and whatnot, but we couldn't remember really who we were or where we were going. But one thing we did know was that our sweet Celestine was extremely special and must be protected. It's obvious that they were under some kind of threat, and they attached themselves to us very quickly. So we took it upon ourselves to take them under our wing and protect them. And once we heard that they were in danger again, of course, that's our first instinct.
And Celestine, he turns to you and says, if you would be willing to share with me what it is you saw when you held the shard, which, by the way, he still has on his person. He has it in his coat. Did it reveal anything that you can remember about where you came from?
Not where I came from. And Celestine will try to recall the moon eye and what the sire of Io said. That my blood would bring vengeance.
Yes.
Which I guess is also going to be the party's first time hearing all of that.
Yeah.
But it's almost like reciting, a little less like...
Called you the sin of his child, of their child.
Yep.
What a rude message.
Jacek, however, as he's listening to this, why don't you, whoever wants to, you can make an insight check.
Yes.
I would love to.
Me too.
Go ahead. Tell me what you get.
18.
Okay.
I got 18 plus. No, 18.
Okay. All right. So what were the final rolls for everybody else? So 18.
Roll didn't roll.
Rolling, I was reading the retelling of the.
Yeah, I just dropped my transcription for the prophecy in chat.
Oh, thank you, dear. Thank you.
So what are we rolling?
It's insight.
Insight.
Growl's not rolling.
Okay, yeah.
They are not growling.
They are not growling.
Thank you. I was saying thank you. Thank you.
Relief, sweet relief, huh, Sam? Like, oh God.
You have no
Thank
idea.
God. Thank you.
Someone's got to drive this thing.
Resin.
Oh, nat 20, by the way.
Nat 20? Okay.
So at 26.
Okay, so for those of you who rolled higher than a 17, he's pretty good at playing it close to the chest and keeping himself in check. For those of you who have that empowered insight to read and sort of empathize with people, you see terror behind his eyes as Celestine is saying all of this. Like mortal terror that's just being held. You can see a clenching of the jaw as he's listening and nodding. And he's reacting like somebody who is keeping it together, but just nods and nods.
Do you not believe we will prevail?
Glances over and says, I've never said such a thing. I would
Do you
never
not
say
have
it,
trust
no.
in your master and us?
Why would you ask such a thing?
I can see fear in you, very deep in your heart. It's okay to be afraid.
My fear is not rooted in doubt of you or your companions, or in Master Razin's intentions or ability. It's the nature of our foe that frightens me.
Do you know them?
I know some legends. And
ooh, I love legends. What's the story?
It's what my master has said to me in warning, but it has never come up until now. But if it seems as though this is the case, but there is a legend that the creator of dragons themselves was created. In mythologies, when you look far enough back, beyond even the most ancient of recordings of some of the first words spoken by the gods, you will find mention of beings that existed before they. They are very difficult to find, but they can be found if you know where to look. Or, in the case of dragonkind, the age passes so differently. Dragons are prone to living quite a long time, and their oral traditions and storytelling pass in a time that people like us rarely understand.
Thank you for the history on dragons, but what is it that is scaring you?
It is called the void that moves.
Well, that sounds ominous.
Go on then.
Have we heard of this void before?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
For those of you, for those of you who had the encounter with the mind flayers when you first met Celestine.
Oh yes, Cult of the Void Dragon, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Void
no?
Serpent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
In the time between that encounter and this one, what sort of research has been done about the void that moves? Like, what kind of debriefs have we received about it, if any?
So there has been so little information that has been discovered or found since you first found Celestine. It's what led to sort of the desperate move to take this meeting with an information broker who could possibly betray you. There have not been a lot of leads.
Okay.
And this, for most of you, this is the first time you've ever heard of anything of a cult of the Void Dragon. You've never heard of such a thing. There are, of course, a lot of bizarre cults and belief structures out here in a wild space and amongst the many crystal spheres that you can find in the flow. But there is nothing really, there's nothing really concrete that indicates that there was a cult dedicated to anything called a Void Dragon.
Maybe this is a silly question, but a crystalline dragon is clearly made of crystal. But what is the... How does the lack of matter become a creature?
Yes.
You saw an eye? Was there anything else?
You saw an eye and turns slowly and looks at you. Says, "Is that what you meant when you told your tale? You saw an eye. Did it see you?"
It spoke to me.
It spoke to you. You hear his voice go flat and he says, "Ah. Interesting. It spoke to you. And what did it say?" And you kind of, giving that you posted that text up, you kind of recant, or rather retell what was said, or do you want to say it? Like, it's up to you, as he asks.
There you are, little dragon. There you are, sin of my child. I whose children shall find their end here in the void. And my project...
I look up to Glamma for help with the word.
Are you trying to say prodigy? Progeny. Progeny. Shall watch and no despair. Ah, yes, despair. Yes, good. Oh, okay. Oh.
For he is your creator and I his. Your blood, my tribute. Your blood will bring me my vengeance.
Oh, well, dear, someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning? Or I guess wrong side of the void? That just sounds very ominous.
Well, we certainly don't want to give any of their blood to the void.
No.
At least it's not of the void. Hey, there it is. There it is.
I can't believe it took me that long.
I'll just get through.
Okay.
Well,
Well, this is quite a lot of stories, isn't it?
Jazik leans back in the chair, rubbing his hands together, and says, I will not know how to make sense of such things. You will have to speak to my master, but if you heard the words of the void that moves, if the void that moves has spoken to you directly, then that would... I've never heard of the being itself ever noticing what happens here in our space, I suppose. All I know is that it is a creature, if you can call it that, a being, an entity, that, according to the legends, was the progenitor of Io, a titan.
Why do Illithid like the void?
I do not think the Illithid like the void Young Celestine, I think the illithid like being paid. However, that is the second time I have now seen cultists, and they come from everywhere. I've seen humans, I've seen members of my own race, elves, dwarves, Gif, I've seen them all. I've seen cultists serving the cult of the Void Dragon, which I now am certain are servants of this creature, the Void that moves.
To your point, Glama, I wonder, or Glama, sorry. To that point, I wonder if the Void is looking for matter to inhabit.
Oh, like a body snatch.
Just as you say, like a body snatch, your entire body turns blue.
I felt silly for a moment. What is everyone looking at?
Just blue.
Violet's turning violet.
You blew up. I what? Ah! Oh, ooh. What shade of blue?
Like a periwinkle.
Oh, is periwinkle my color? I suppose.
Romska's just staring at you in what the F-ness.
Romska like has her hand on her the handle of her blade and is just looking at Josic. What's the meaning of this?
Maybe it'll be.
Don't. Waddles in between. No, Romska. This is the dangers of wild magic. Don't worry.
Maybe next time
Wild
it'll
magic.
turn her pink.
It might. I have been a lovely shade of green before, but that was in my teens.
Forgive me. I was a little confused there.
No. Trust me, it's confusing every time it happens. It's just some of them I've had before. And it doesn't hurt. It's just kind of cute.
Does it smell different when I
No.
sniff?
Do I smell different?
No,
Huh?
you now are different shades of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Mm.
Periwinkle.
I let you lick my fin. Do I taste different?
It's forked dragon tongue, just
Wow.
I didn't taste before.
Oh, well, now you have a reference, my dear.
Reference.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Periwinkle is more of a lovely lavender purple shade. So I'm sorry. I must be colorblind. Baby's breath.
Bluebells is what I meant.
Robin's egg. Robin's egg.
Oh, that's good.
There we
Oh,
go. That's
I
nice.
love a good robin's egg.
That's the
When they-
blue I'm thinking of.
When they hatch, such lovely creatures.
There's the soft thrumming of 90s electro pop, just just going through the shit.
okay.
Whew. Well, I think I'm gonna go read.
All right. With that, Glenma just waddles out of the room. Jazik is just again.
She's
rubbing
not
his
reading.
hand
She's staring at herself in the mirror.
and just regarding yourself and like the reflection of one of the portal mirrors. Jazik is just rubbing his hands together and staring down at the map as you guys see your location on the map, like in real time, moving across this little blot of ink, indicating where you are. And just there's a deep concern on his face as he's just nodding and thinking to himself. Just Resin will know what to do. Okay, you approach him.
Why are you so concerned? What does this mean? Does this mean that are we now trackable by this being?
I don't know. I'm concerned because I don't know.
We'll get some answers from your employer, please.
That is why we are going.
Fine. little disheveled. Realms
Snarl.
kind of just like keeps her hands like crossed.
I will rest. I think I shall rest now. It stands up and moves over to one of the chairs towards the back. Doesn't make himself a bed or anything, just kind of nestles into the chair and kind of closes his eyes and ducks his head down.
So Javik's not looking at me? And Hrumska's not looking at me?
Javik's not looking at you, no.
I'm looking at Javik.
It's just that there are snacks. Wixel is making snacks.
Yep.
And I want to steal
Okay.
a snack.
Oh.
Okay. Well, you're a battle master, not a rogue, so stealing snacks is very just like chomp, chomp, chomp as you like watching a golden retriever that's trying to get that sandwich off the coffee table, but it's just too high for their head, but they don't want to get caught either, so their head kind of angles to the side and they just kind of snap at it.
And at this point, the paint's gotten kind of itchy, and Celestine scratched at it a bit subconsciously, so they're about half crystal. And yeah, Wixel probably catches them. Oops.
With that, it's relatively quiet. Your day and a half journey across realm space. Traveling at this speed, you are seeing celestial bodies fly by at incredible momentum. When you pass rocks or other Spelljammer ships, which you'll catch flying through wild space. Toril, obviously not the only world here in realm space. There are other worlds rich with their own cultures and civilizations, whole other stories being told on these planets. You race past all of them, heading towards the great crystal sphere, the edge of realm space. The size of the crystal sphere, for those of you all who want to know, the crystal sphere is the realm in which all of the solar system resides. So if you can imagine the sheer size of a sphere to house the solar system of realm space, essentially upon approach of it, basically looks like a spatial distortion of a giant wall. You can just see sort of the warped images of the stars reflecting out. Think of it sort of very similar to sort of the light bending effect of the wormhole in the movie Interstellar, where you're coming across what looks like space bending around you as you're approaching. However, the edges of the sphere itself are not the destination. It's just the enormity of what you are seeing is inescapable and a little disorienting. Thankfully, Grawl, being attuned into the Spelljammer helm is giving you a lot more orientation than the others. If you're up on deck gazing out to the approach of the crystal sphere, the enormity of what you're seeing, it just looks like all of reality is warping and bending in front of you. It does seem to have a kind of surface. And you all know, those of you who have traveled in wild space before, that to exit crystal spheres is to find portals. Or if you are well enough traveled to have the spell to form a portal to exit the crystal sphere. What lies beyond is the flow, that strange nebulous, gaseous nebula that connects all crystal spheres together. However, silhouetted against the warping of space and this great crystal wall, you can see clearly a giant asteroid that is kind of just moving just lumbrously through the cosmos. Doesn't seem to be attached to any sort of gravitational pull, but seems to have existed without crashing into anything. As you're on approach, though, you can see almost like someone's pulling a shadow back from like the dark side of the moon. You can see on the surface of this rock porous cave entrances all over. The rock itself is probably about maybe 3 miles and 3 kilometers in diameter. A little bit larger than the Rock of Brawl, but it does not look quite as welcoming, except for one section of the area where you can clearly spot what looks like greenery that has all grown up onto the rock itself. And as you approach and the rock gets larger and larger, you begin to realize there's actually a forest on the surface of this asteroid. Great towering pines that are growing up and catching what little sunlight can be caught from this part of the crystal sphere itself. Though these needles that reach out from these great trees, it looks quite sparse. And the leaves themselves kind of, as you approach, you begin to realize that this forest, which you thought was just sort of like catching the light in a strange way, the forest looks like it's breathing, inhaling and exhaling. The leaves, as you're all approaching and getting closer and closer, which can clearly even be seen from altitude, are expanding and contracting constantly. moving and warping in order to catch starlight as you're all moving around. On approach, you begin to enter into the atmosphere of this, of the rock itself. Jazik comes down to where the Starjam helm is and says, "You can set us down on the edge of the forest. The cave entrance is not far from there. That will be the lair of my master."
Understood.
It's a wondrous thing to see, because as you begin to descend and the forest begins to tower up over all of you, also towering up over you is this great mountain range, which is the edge of this asteroid. So if you could see beyond, if you could imagine looking beyond the mountains and seeing the universe waiting for you on the other side, a great star field with a distant sun and all of the great stars, including Selune in the far, far distance. These celestial trees that look like ancient pines with breathing leaves, just expanding and contracting. You all set down onto this large patch of waving grass. It is eerily quiet, and just the sound of the grass swaying back and forth around all of you on this asteroid at the edge of realm space. Jazik says, "Oh, my master will be waiting within."
Let us not keep them waiting long, then.
That's good.
I am... Oh, no, we'll wait on that. So
What?
you stand...
Perception check? Perception check?
No perception checks.
Are you sure?
is-
I'm ready.
Grawl, you get out of the chair and you can feel your bones popping a little bit as you've just been like... Another long bout, 2 8-hour shifts on the helm.
I'm going to need a nap after this. Your boy isn't as young as he used to be.
All right. It's easy enough to disembark, stepping off the insectoid wings that have now angled down, allowing you to basically walk off the side of the Spelljammer. As you touch down into the grass, you feel a firm soil underneath. If you were to look straight down, you think you might be planetside somewhere. The only thing that would kind of tip you off is, just like as you might imagine the way the sun in our own solar system might look from many, many planets away, the light here is quite dim. So it has this sort of heavenly, ghostly glow about it. It's lost that brilliant yellow starlight. And here, it just comes off like this pale, almost distant moonlight. You step into the grass as the asteroid rotates on its daily cycle. Okay. And you are in this cosmic forest on this asteroid surface. You do see about 300 feet away a very large looking rock, like one of the porous areas that may have been a crater at one point has since become a cave. And Jazik points and says, "My master resides there. Come, follow me. I shall go first, as to belay any suspicion."
Celestine gets up off the ground where they are making a grass angel with their wings, because they've been on Homestone. They've never touched grass.
It's true. This is your first time
This
touching
is my
grass.
first grass.
The air here is very fresh. It's very clear. It's not unusual to keep plant life as a constant recycling oxygen supply on a celestial body like this. Point of note, the elves usually fly organic Spelljammer vessels that are flying forests and can interconnect. They allow themselves. In fact, the Elven fleet, which is sometimes known as like the Elven home base, is essentially the fleet of Elven vessels that interconnect and form a giant city in space, when in fact it is all their ships together. And it is also worth noting that the most powerful navy in all of Spelljammer belongs to the elves. They are not to be messed with. So you all disembark and start approaching this cave. And for some of you, especially you, Celestine, this is dreamlike. However, Celestine, gazing up at the starlight and everything, there's almost this sort of immediate, you know what? Actually, why don't we do this? I'm going to have to make a wisdom save for me.
11.
You just rolled save versus anxiety.
Did I make it?
You did, yes. When you gaze up at the stars, there is this whatever this creature is that's looking for you, it's out there, and it looks like that. You see the great space and the realm of the crystal sphere overhead, and there's this immediate feeling of being exposed. That great planet-sized eye could see you from here. There's just for the briefest of moments, and then you pass under one of these great trees, and it kind of breaks the spell for a moment, enough to push it aside.
I subconsciously shift a little closer to Grawl.
Okay, you move up to Grawl.
Just the little low growl of acknowledgement.
Y'all are led into the cave, and Ramska, you're keeping an eye on Jazik. Jazik is walking with his hands out, and just right down the dead center of this cave entrance. But when you enter into the cave itself, you can see there's plenty of light coming from within. This glowing ambient light, the color of sunlight. As you descend deeper and deeper into the cave, it begins to widen and open up, and you can see clearly as you all enter into the great room, you see once again the very familiar visage, the form of this great brass dragon. Entering into this room, the room is magnificent. It's huge, but what's remarkable about it is it doesn't resemble anything like you might think a dragon's lair would normally look like, where it's simply a mass collection of trinkets and gold and gems, and a place that looks more just like a carved out tunnel system with all sorts of places for a dragon to run and hide. No, this looks dramatically different. And it's a little shocking to see, because around you, you see neatly organized or suits of armor. You see what looks like books. And when I say books, these are books that are large enough for a dragon of this size to hold, which is almost comical to look at. Means that these books are probably from, if you were to stand them up on the floor, they would easily be as tall as Grawl, if not bigger. Large enough for a dragon to palm and flip open. Kind of a bizarre thing to consider, but do dragons read? You also see scroll cases. You see what look like globes, models of the worlds here in wild space, and a great chandelier on the ceiling that looks like it's constructed from magic dangling from overhead, with what looks like sprites of yellow motes of essence spiraling around this great golden, what looks like cage. In the center of the cage is this bright miniature sun that is beaming light throughout the entirety of this layer. And the brass dragon that's sitting on the gold shuffles a little bit and says, you can see the grin as these great teeth crack, but you do feel a sense of welcome as you all enter the lair, even though gazing up at this, there's kind of this majesty effect that takes place at seeing this adult brass dragon gazing down on all of you. But the head towers up almost 30 feet above all of you. And the dragon says, there you are. I am happy to see you have all arrived safely. Well done, Jazik, well done. You handled the cultists quite well, I take it. They handled the cultists.
You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you. The dragon nods to you. Celestine.
I do a quick curtsy. It just feels appropriate.
Okay. The dragon nods to you respectfully. And then those great reptilian eyes fall on you, Ramska. And the dragon's head lowers a little bit. And then it just snakes down. And about this time, by the way, just for everyone to know, Apollos, as always, watching the ship. The brass dragon's head just snakes down and inches right up to you. So this great dragon's head just facing you stares at you for a second.
Ramska does her best to not flinch.
Okay. And you can see those great nostrils flaring as it just takes in your scent. Just glances over, and you see Jazik just nod. And the dragon glances back at you and says, you do not bring your war here, and I am grateful.
will no longer waste my time or anyone else's with that.
The dragon's head rears back up again and says, "The reputation of the Star Jamm Rangers remains intact. Well done. I'm pleased to see you set aside your differences."
Whatever it takes.
Now, let us get to business. And she lowers her head again and says, "Tell me, what has happened? What has transpired since you have rescued Celestine?" And you exposit. They basically spend the next 30 minutes kind of catching up and explaining the Mind Flayer capture, everything as it took place. She listens very patiently. And when you're done,
It's a pretty good story, huh?
Razin looks at all of you and says, "I am constantly amazed by the way fate seems to intervene. The same things that could have doomed us all seem to have saved us all." She once again turns towards you, Celestine, and says, "Little hatchling, do you remember where it is you came from? You mentioned a voice in your egg."
Nice voice.
"I too have dreams of a voice from beyond my shell. I cannot remember much, but I know that I was born on the world that you were destined to be on."
Where?
The eyes lower, and she, in a very human fashion, shakes her head and says, "I do not know."
Where did it go?
She rears back again, regarding everyone, and simply states, "My memory, it does not hold anything of home. I only know bits and pieces. I can tell you that you are only the second dragon that I have met, the second child of Io, out here amongst wild space, that originates from my home. I understand if you do not remember, you were from the egg. How could you know? Still, I hoped." What have you told them, Jazik? "Only the legends of which you have told me, master, and what I know about the void." "Yes." She turns that great head back to all of you and says, "I will tell you everything that I remember and everything that I know. The void that moves is a great titan that exists beyond our reality. Somewhere it lurks beyond the confines of realm space, perhaps even out somewhere amongst the flow. I do not know where, but I do know that it seeks to destroy all dragonkind that come from our home specifically. Why, I do not know, but our home holds a special significance to the void that moves. It seeks it. It wishes to find it. I've developed some theories." The dragon begins to rise, and you see now that it begins to stand at its full height. It shakes its wings as coins just jingle and fall off, folding it down, and with these thunderous like foot pads just moves over to one of the bookshelves, and in an alarmingly like almost humanoid like fashion kind of leans back a little bit onto its haunch, curls up its tail, and almost sits back as it reaches forward with its two claws, folding its wings behind, and hefts up a book. You never thought you'd see the day where you saw a dragon reading a book, but here it is, as the claws just fold open one of the pages and says, Here's what I've been able to remember from when I was young. Slides the book across this floor, this huge tome just pushing coins aside as it slides up to all of you. And you see what looks like sketches and drawings of these strange, looks like these strange squiggles, these little cookie like shards. No. Islands. You see a chain of islands stretching from north to south. And the dragon regards them and says, "This is one of the many worlds that exists out beyond the walls of the crystal sphere. This is called the Isles Blood Island Chain. I know it is a lost world, much like the world you and I come from. This is the tale that's told to you is a breaking of the plains, basically. And Razin goes on to say, those of us who originated from pieces of the first realm, we are few and far between here among the stars. Those of us who came from worlds like you and I, that were pieces of the first realm, we have difficulty remembering it. We have difficulty recalling where they are.
It's a forgotten realm?
Not exactly. Though, where you might suggest that it is a realm filled with secrets, the realm itself seems to have a defensive mechanism, a secret unto its own. All my arcane studies of the past few centuries have been dedicated to trying to find a way back. And I believe that if the void that moves has become so interested in you, Celestine, then the void that moves believes that you might be the key in finding the way back to this lost realm of our kind. How you were discovered and taken from, that is a mystery. How to get back, this too is a mystery. There is, as I said before, you hear the seriousness come over her voice as she says, one other who might be able to help. She low growl as she sits back, slithers back onto the pile of treasure, and just kind of assumes sort of a formal posture and looking down on all of you. And you can see the incredible intelligence behind her eyes working, almost like she's trying to consider whether or not she should tell you this. And finally she says, there is another one of us among the stars, Celestine, who also originates from one of the pieces of this first realm. His name is Kazaba. Kazabah. Kazaba is known to a few because, like me, Kazaba is in hiding. You see, we cannot risk leaving our layers while the void that moves lurks out in the flow, or they will find us. And so, like me, Kazaba has gone into hiding. But Kazaba has in his hoard an item that you might be able to use. It is an ink pen carved from the bone of an astral dreadnought. The pen could mark on a map where you originate from, Celestine. It would not work on me, and it would not work on he. We have long since been departed from our home, but you are still young. It has only been months since you have been taken. It's possible that it will work for you. Jazik, Master, I want you to go with them. Bring Kaba, the shard of the astral traveler, and see if the exchange would be worthy. And be very careful. He might be willing to trade one precious item for another. As you command. I'm afraid this is all I can do to help you.
Celestine is gonna step up a bit,
Mhm.
and they'll take out what they brought, and they'll set down a little toy from their hoard on the hoard as a thank you, as an acknowledgement of the bigger dragon.
Okay.
Thank you.
The dragon doesn't seem to smile. I mean, this dragon has that predatorial sort of reptilian-looking face that always seems to have a slight grin upon it. She angles her head down and then lowers that great head so that her nose comes right up to your face. And of course, you being small size Celestine, this brass dragon is enormous to you. These great nostrils move up to you. And she literally, like with a creature of this immensity, with incredible care and the faintest of touch, the nostrils of this dragon, as its nose kind of touches you. Find your way home, little hatchling. Find your way back to our world, if that is where you are from, or whichever piece of the first world that you are from. Find that first realm. And do not let the void catch you. If you are the key, it is trying to get in. It is trying to wreak its vengeance upon Io. Destroying the first realm, it must enter the first realm. To enter the first realm, it must know where the first realm is. You may be the key.
They will not catch me. And I look back.
You're
They're very fierce.
just like the silhouette of your group, your crew standing behind you, watching all of this. Go.
It was lovely meeting you.
And you.
I'm not normally blue. Just that I'd ask, or not ask, to say in case we meet again.
Robin egg.
Not normally Robin Egg.
We thank you for your hospitality and for your help. And we will do all that is in our power to keep Celestine safe.
Mm-hmm.
Though they are quite hardy.
Just like that little one, we are all small but mighty.
I'm not small.
In comparison to some, dear.
As I point up to the dragon.
You are in comparison to some.
A fin of
but still mighty. Always.
Jazik just gives a flourish, and with that, the dragon watches you all start looking over your shoulder. Celestine, there's something immensely sad about this. This brass dragon out here on the edges of space, also from one of the pieces of your native world that has splintered out into the cosmos. You begin to realize that if it's true, what Razin is saying, it means that Razin is a castaway, a outcast, exiled forever. If it's true that they cannot leave this asteroid while the void that moves lurks out there. It's cultists lurking out there. You begin to realize that this asteroid is a prison. This layer is a place that they can never leave if they want to survive. The details as to why that is uncertain to you, but you do get a sense of longing from the dragon as you depart. She watches all of you leave and nods to you when she sees you looking back, and this twinkle of hope in her eyes as you're exiting the cave. As you leave the layer, the light dies down as an illusion reforms behind you, just and it looks like an old cave again. So you emerge up onto the grass. And each of you board back up onto the vessel. And Jazik exhales and says, the task my master has set before us is not enviable.
Doesn't seem so. Thank you for your
Kazaba,
assistance.
of course. Anything I can do to help. I owe Razin my life, my family's life. I will do anything I can to help her, and in doing so, help you and your crew. But this errand to see Kazaba is problematic, to say the least.
How so?
Kazaba is a white dragon, and one of equal power and ferocity as my master, and not as welcoming. They too live in exile here in realm space.
Would Grohl, as a monster hunter, have knowledge about, like, are there differences between the way, like, chromatic dragons and metallic dragons are perceived in this specific
in
like,
Spelljammer? In Spelljammer, there's a larger variety of how metallic and chromatic dragons behave. In most worlds, it's pretty consistent. And in Spelljammer, for the most part, it's pretty consistent. All throughout Wild Space, chromatic dragons tend to be more aggressive. They tend to be a little more primal. They tend to look down upon other species. It's just a character trait that seems inherent with chromatic dragons. Dragons being elemental, they are the way you can expect fire to burn. You can expect a red dragon to have a temper or to have or to enjoy violence. One way or the other, however they present, however welcoming they might be, these truths we know to be self-evident. Chromatic dragons,
we will be met with a rather icy reception.
White dragons, as you would know this, Grawl, white dragons tend to be some of the most primal of the chromatic dragons. They are their chromatic brethren might say that they lack refinement, but in truth, white dragons don't like to indulge in scheming. They don't like to indulge in the long play. They enjoy the hunt. They enjoy killing. They enjoy being dragons. They enjoy being the most powerful thing out there that can destroy everything around them. They are the
cold and calculating.
They are just primal creatures. They don't have the same reputation as their other chromatic kin. They love the hunt.
I think that Grohl is kind of like explaining this out loud just to kind of give everybody sort of the impression, but also for the benefit of young hatchling dragon who has so far only ever met one other dragon.
Yeah.
Doesn't know maybe very much about dragons. So
you say they're icy?
White dragons, to my knowledge, tend to breathe ice. Yes.
The cold never bothered me anyway.
This cold will freeze you dead before you feel it. It will turn you into a crystal not unlike the scale of your dragon hatchling friend here, will break you to pieces.
All right, then let's not give in a reason for this dragon to give us the cold shoulder, then.
And that is the thing about this particular white dragon. Kazaba does not look for reasons to kill. This will be a difficult negotiation.
Gruul kind of nods in their helm's chair, but one of their claws kind of like gives a gesture of like up here to Celestine. And then if they come up onto his lap, they kind of tap the little dragon's chest from here. Because they've noticed you trying to figure out how to blow. And so they tap on your chest from here.
They sit up on your lap, which, correct me, has Gruul ever deliberately invited them onto his lap?
Mm-hmm.
No.
So they sit up with their back against your belly so they don't breathe like onto you because of... Look back. Check, make sure they're doing it right.
You breath weapon?
Yeah.
Okay, so is it a beam? It's a beam, isn't it?
It's a cone on me.
It's a cone.
Mm-hmm.
A cone of radiant light exhales from the inside, just boils out from your chest. You see this sort of prismatic rainbowed light just blast out from the crystal dragon's little maw.
Does it hit anything?
I certainly hope not.
I try to be careful.
Yeah. Not anyone, but anything. A cup, a table, a chair.
If it hits a table, the table's destroyed.
Exactly.
It takes, what is it, 2d10 radiant damage?
It does. Yep.
Yeah. So the table, you just see it smoldering table gets balled over and just topples across the room and just clatters to the ground. Just smoke drifting up as this rainbow sort of shaft of light blasts through.
Oh dear. Just
Worth it.
a quick clap and
It's alarming. It's frightening.
Glamour will just cast Unseen Servant, who will walk by with a little dustpan.
Celestine falls back into Gruul's lap on their back, just so pleased to have been on this.
As Robscott, as you're regarding all of this, you become aware of this pressure on your arm, and you glance over and see Jazik is in fear, just clutching your arm, just forgetting himself for a second, and just going, "I've never. Forgive me.
Yeah, it's fine. You've never seen a dragon breathe?
A crystal dragon. I have never seen a crystal dragon before. I did not know they could do this.
Well, they're capable of so much. Just maybe next time, Celestine, keep in mind the price of that table. That was the expensive one.
I didn't really like that table anyway.
With that, sitting back upon the Spelljammer throne, as you slide into the helm, realizing that's going to be a hot minute before you get a chance to take that rest, Gruul. It's going to be probably another few hours of travel. Everyone begins to get settled in as on the star chart, Jazik very hesitantly maps out where you are headed. There is another, it looks like marks down one of the realms, one of the other worlds here in realm space, and says, "This is where we will find the white dragon. And if you do pray to the gods, ask them for protection for this one."
We have a Celestine.
Jazik turns to you and says, "My dear hatchling friend, this dragon we are going to see, be mindful, is not as kind as my master and will be dangerous, very dangerous.
Look back up to roll.
Danger.
That's a good button.
I was like, Danger's my middle name. But Wixel Danger. Something else.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the story tonight as you guys all begin to settle in for the next leg of your journey. Some more of the mystery gets peeled back.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
My cat's freaking out.
I also have a cat freaking out.
Yeah. So you were on your way to one of the other worlds here in Realm Space, which we will learn more about in the next episode, to see the white dragon, the adult white dragon that is waiting for you all, apparently, that has the next answer to this mystery. No big deal.
Can't wait to meet this white dragon.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. It's gonna be so exciting.
We're gonna just be best friends.
Casaba sounds delightful.
Hopefully he knows how to stay frosty, and it'll be all good.
I'm just
It'll
gonna
be
say
a very
this.
chill meeting.
If you're gonna have a conversation with the dragon, it's good that y'all have a face in this party. It's always good to have a bard. Always good to have a bard.
I don't
blue
mind
bard,
the
as it were.
cold. This should be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
A blue bard.
A blue penguin bard.
Blue bard.
Blue bard. BB. That's gonna do it for us tonight, y'all. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us for this second episode of Star Jam. As we get underway, we'll catch you next week for episode 3. Until then, my friends, have a good night. Catch you next time.